Violent with a series of gunshots. Then screams.
I just heard a lot of noise, like somebody.
Now to a mother being remembered tonight, this after being shot in her home right in front of a young child. According to police, it was her husband who pulled the trigger. Tonight, family members and neighbors are facing the devastating reality. Action News reporter Brianna Smith looking into the details for us. She joins us now live at Philadelphia Police Headquarters with the new information and a sad story, Brianna.
Yes, Shari, neighbors say that the family recently moved to the area and they had nothing but pleasant interactions with them. So this deadly shooting came as a shock to many. They also say they can't help but think about the children who were inside at the time.
It's really a tragedy. It's heartbreaking.
Latifah Holloway is just one of many neighbors still trying to process the tragic death of 28-year-old Amira Harper.
I'm devastated. It's like, you know, she's friends with my daughters. She's like a daughter to me. And her kids always come over here. They play with my grandchildren.
Philadelphia police say Harper was shot and killed by her husband, 28-year-old Zaki Bonds, inside their home on the 2600 block of Latona Street in South Philadelphia on Saturday night. Sources tell Action News the couple was in their kitchen when Bonds fired 11 shots. He was holding a 1-year-old baby at the time. Other children were in the living room.
I didn't know them well, but they were neighborly. The family took care of their children. And that's what really hurts most, is the fact that the children's lives are forever going to be affected.
Anthony Cardin says he didn't hear the gunshots, but he saw the aftermath.
I did see the family run out, you know, and it's hard to forget.
We just started grabbing all the kids because they shouldn't have had to witness nothing like that.
Police found Bonds hiding in a backyard and took him into custody. While investigators collected evidence inside the home Saturday night, loved ones embraced each other on the street.
It's traumatic for all of us, you know, so like I said, I'm praying for the family. My heart goes out to them, particularly the children.
This video discusses domestic violence and contains details about a fatal shooting. Viewer discretion is advised. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-SAFE. On July 19, 2025 at 8:40 p.m., the quiet residential piece of the 2600 block of Latona Street in South Philadelphia was shattered by gunshots that would end the life of 28-year-old Amira Harper. I'm here today because we need to examine not just what happened to Amira Harper, but why it happened and how we can prevent tragedies like this from happening to others. Amira was a mother of 3 who had married the man who would ultimately take her life just 5 months earlier. Her story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about domestic violence in America, and I want you to stay with me through this entire video because what we discuss today could literally save someone's life. So what exactly happened that Saturday night in July? According to Philadelphia police, officers received calls about a shooting at approximately 8:38 p.m. When they arrived, they found Amira inside her home with multiple gunshot wounds to her mid-torso. Emergency responders immediately transported her to Penn Presbyterian Medical Center. But despite their efforts, Amira was pronounced dead at 9:07 p.m., less than 30 minutes after the shooting occurred. The shooter was her husband, 28-year-old Zaki Bonds. Here's what makes this even more devastating. Surveillance footage captured him leaving the house after the shooting. He didn't call for help. He didn't stay with his dying wife. He simply left. But perhaps the most heartbreaking detail of all is that Amira's 3 children witnessed their mother's murder. According to sources close to the investigation, the shooting occurred in the couple's kitchen, where Bonds fired 11 shots at his wife. Let that sink in for a moment. 11 shots. This wasn't a crime of passion or a moment of poor judgment. This was sustained deliberate violence. On July 21st, Philadelphia police arrested Zaki Bonds and charged him with murder, possession of an instrument of crime, recklessly endangering another person, and related offenses. Now, here's where this case gets even more troubling. Amira and Zaki married in May 2025. That means their marriage lasted exactly 5 months before he killed her. 5 months from I do to murder. This timeline isn't just tragic, it's significant, and it illustrates patterns that domestic violence experts see repeatedly in cases like this. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, intimate partner violence often escalates after major relationship milestones. marriage, moving in together, pregnancy, these events can trigger increased controlling behavior and violence. Why? Because from an abuser's perspective, these milestones represent increased ownership and control over their victim. When someone marries their abuser, the abuser may feel they now own that person completely. We don't know the full details of Amira and Zaki's relationship before marriage, but what we do know tells a troubling story. They married in May, moved into the Latona Street home together with Amira's 3 children, and by July, she was dead. Think about what those 5 months must have been like for Amira. Possibly walking on eggshells, trying to keep the peace, trying to make the marriage work, while dealing with someone who may have been showing increasingly controlling or violent behavior. Here's a statistic that might surprise you and is crucial to understand. Leaving an abusive relationship is actually the most dangerous time for a victim. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, approximately 75% of domestic violence homicides occur when the victim is attempting to leave or has recently left the relationship. We don't know if Amira was planning to leave, but we do know that on July 19th, in what should have been her safe space, her home, Zaki Bonds made the decision to end her life. This decision didn't just destroy Amira's life, it shattered the lives of everyone who loved her, especially her 3 children who witnessed this unthinkable violence. These children didn't just lose their mother that night, they experienced trauma that will affect them for the rest of their lives. According to the National Child Traumatic Stress Network, children who witness domestic violence often experience symptoms similar to those of direct abuse victims. They may develop PTSD, anxiety, depression, behavioral problems, and difficulty forming healthy relationships later in life. The trauma extends beyond Amira's immediate family, too. This shooting occurred in a residential neighborhood where families felt safe, where children played together, where neighbors knew each other by name. Latifah Holloway, who lives just a few doors down, heard the gunshots and rushed to help. She described Amira as like a daughter to her, someone whose children played with her grandchildren. This wasn't a stranger's tragedy happening somewhere else. This was their community, their friend, their chosen family. Unfortunately, this community trauma is becoming increasingly common in Philadelphia. There have been 27 domestic violence homicides in the city so far this year. That's a 37% increase from the same period last year. Let me put that in perspective. 27 families destroyed, 27 women whose lives were cut short by people who claimed to love them, potentially dozens of children left without mothers. Nationwide, the statistics are equally devastating. According to the CDC, about 1 in 4 women and nearly 1 in 10 men have experienced contact sexual violence, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner during their lifetime. Every minute, nearly 20 people are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. But here's what I need you to understand. Amira Harper isn't a statistic. She was a real person with hopes and dreams, with children who needed her, with neighbors who cared about her. If we're going to honor Amira's memory and prevent future tragedies, we need to understand what domestic violence really looks like, because it's not always obvious and it's not always physical. Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior used by one person to gain and maintain power and control over an intimate partner. Let me break down some warning signs that you or someone you know might be in an abusive relationship, because recognizing these signs could literally save a life.
Amira Harper will be remembered for being a dedicated mother. I'm told by family that she was married for just 5 months to that man now behind bars for her murder. I'm also told that her children saw and witnessed the whole ordeal.
What starts off as a calm night on Latona Street in South Philly, people sitting out on their stoops, quickly turns violent with a series of gunshots. Then screams.
I just heard a lot of noise, like somebody arguing, then I heard screaming.
Latifah Holloway lives just a couple doors down. To her disbelief, it was her friend, 28-year-old Amira Harper, who needed help. After the shooting, you see a man leave the house. Police have now arrested 28-year-old Zaki Bonds. Families say Amira and Bonds were married in May and lived in this home with their children. Latifah says Amira's children witnessed the shooting.
It's just sad. It's heartbroken. My heart is broken because she really was a nice person. She was a very good friend to my daughter.
According to family who were not able to speak on camera, Amira was a great mother to 3 children. Her family's still processing this loss. And according to Philadelphia police, 27 domestic violence homicides have been reported this year, 10 more than last year.
Domestic violence is real. Like, if it's happening to you, reach out for somebody to get help. Get out while you can, because people lose their lives every day.
Zaki Pons is now facing murder charges. I'm told Amira's family is now planning funeral arrangements outside of police headquarters. Yukari Nakayama, NBC.
Physical signs might seem obvious: unexplained injuries, frequent bruises, claims that they're clumsy or accident-prone. But many victims become very good at hiding physical abuse. Emotional and psychological abuse often happens first and can be harder to recognize. This includes constant criticism, humiliation, threats, extreme jealousy, isolation from friends and family, and making the victim feel like they're walking on eggshells. Here's what's crucial to understand. Abuse often starts small and escalates over time. It might begin with excessive jealousy disguised as love, or with subtle controlling behaviors that seem caring. The abuser might say things like, "I just want to take care of you," or "I worry about you when you're with other people." Many victims don't recognize these early warning signs as abuse because they're often presented as love and protection. Let's address some dangerous misconceptions about domestic violence, because these misconceptions prevent people from getting help and prevent others from offering support. Why didn't she just leave? This question places blame on the victim and ignores the complex realities of abuse. Leaving is often the most dangerous time. Abusers may threaten to kill the victim, their children, or themselves. They may control all financial resources or have isolated the victim from all support systems. It can't be that bad, or she would have left. Abusers are often charming and manipulative. They may alternate between extreme violence and overwhelming affection, a cycle that keeps victims confused and hopeful that things will change. She must have done something to provoke it. Nothing, absolutely nothing, justifies domestic violence. The responsibility lies entirely with the person choosing to use violence. Understanding these realities helps us understand why Amira Harper may have stayed in her marriage even if there were warning signs. It helps us understand why she might not have reached out for help, or why she might have hoped things would get better. And it helps us understand that her death was not her fault. It was the result of choices made by Zaki Pons, choices to control, to threaten, and ultimately to kill. Now, I want to shift our focus to something crucial. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please know that help is available, and you are not alone. The National Domestic Violence Hotline provides 24/7 support at 1-800-799-SAFE-233. You can also text LOVES to 22522 or visit thehotline.org for online chat support. These services are free, confidential, and available in multiple languages. For those in the Philadelphia area specifically, the local domestic violence hotline is 1-866-723-3014. If you're not ready to leave but want to increase your safety, consider creating a safety plan. This might include identifying safe places you can go, keeping important documents and money easily accessible, teaching children how to call for help, and establishing code words with trusted friends or family members. If you suspect someone you know is being abused, here's how you can help. Listen without judgment. Don't pressure them to leave or tell them what they should do. Let them know you're concerned and that you're there for them. Help them connect with professional resources when they're ready. Most importantly, understand that it may take multiple conversations and attempts before someone feels safe enough to reach out for help or leave an abusive relationship. On a broader level, we can all work to prevent domestic violence by challenging attitudes that normalize relationship control and possessiveness, teaching young people about healthy relationships and consent, supporting organizations that work with both survivors and those who use violence, and advocating for stronger domestic violence laws and better enforcement. Remember, domestic violence thrives in silence and isolation. By talking about it, by knowing the resources, by supporting survivors, we can break that cycle. Every conversation about domestic violence could be the one that saves a life. Every person who learns to recognize the warning signs could be the one who helps someone escape before it's too late. As I wrap up this examination of Amira Harper's case, I want us to remember her not just as a victim of domestic violence, but as a person who mattered. Amira was 28 years old. She was a mother who loved her 3 children. She was a neighbor who was kind to others. She was a friend who was valued by those who knew her. She was a woman who deserved to live a long, happy life. Her children are now growing up without their mother. Her family is planning a funeral that should never have had to happen. Her neighbors are processing trauma that will stay with them forever. Her community has lost someone who made it a little bit brighter. But if Amira's story can help even one person recognize the signs of abuse, reach out for help, or support someone they love, then we can honor her memory by preventing the next tragedy. If her death can spark conversations about domestic violence that lead to increased awareness, better resources, or stronger prevention programs, then her life will have had meaning beyond the tragedy of how it ended. As this case moves through the legal system, as Zaki Bonds faces justice for his actions, I encourage you to stay informed, not just about this case, but about the broader issue of domestic violence in your community. Support local organizations that work with survivors. Educate yourself about the warning signs. Have conversations with young people in your life about healthy relationships. And remember, if you or someone you know needs help, it's available. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. You deserve to be safe. You are not alone. If this video has opened your eyes to the reality of domestic violence, if you've learned something new about the warning signs, or if you now feel better equipped to help someone in need, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. This case is still developing, and I'll be following it closely to bring you updates as they become available. More importantly, your subscription helps spread awareness about domestic violence to a wider audience. Every view, every share, every comment could reach someone who needs to see this information. So please subscribe, share this video with someone who might benefit from seeing it, and let's keep Amira Harper's memory alive by working together to prevent future tragedies. National Domestic Violence Hotline 1-800-799-SAFE. Text LOVE IS to 22522. Website thehotline.org.org. Philadelphia will be both signed Hotline 1-866-723-3114. Crisis text line, text home to 741-741. Amira Harper's life mattered. Her story matters. And our response to her story could make all the difference for someone else who needs help. Rest in peace, Amira. We will not forget you.